Hello, my name is James Norbert Ivanyi. I'm here in Sydney, Australia, and welcome to my home studio. So I've been asked to make a video like this for many years. So to those who have been asking, thank you so much for your patience. In this video, we're just going to take a look around my home studio, which is where I write and record all of my records. And I also do mixing and production work with clients and colleagues from all over the world. So just a quick note to mention that I have lots of other bits of gear in storage, some of it in the front room here. But I try to just keep in this small room what I'm actually using. So I am often swapping things in and out, depending on what my needs are and what project I might be working on. So for the purposes of this video, as I just finished recording my new record, we're going to look at it in its current configuration, which is exactly how I had it and with all the bits of gear that I used for the recording of the new album. I'll try to keep things as brief as possible, or else I fear this video will just go for way too long. But if there's anything specifically you think might make for a cool standalone video, just feel free to leave me a comment and I'll certainly consider it. To make things easy, we'll start with the guitars over here and we'll just go around the room and I'll share my thoughts along the way. So let's have a look at the guitars. Maybe we'll start with this one right here, because it's right in front of me. So this here is I would say a modern antique, but it is technically a prototype guitar. This guitar served as the prototype for my new signature models. I have it finished in black, so it would kind of blend in and be inconspicuous. But yeah, this is a really cool guitar. This one, kind of led me to change the bodywood from mahogany to alder on the new one. Also changed the logo, which is pinstriped on this. It also has block saddles, which I switched to bent saddles on the signature. I used this guitar quite a bit on the new record for a few songs at least, and it's fantastic. Super heavy, has a really great sound, and it has a very, very fancy neck, as you can see, which the guys at spoiled me with a little bit, I think. All right, and here we have my newest signature model, Modern Antique. This is currently my favorite guitar in the whole world. It's beautifully lightweight. It's finished in the gorgeous russet brown, which is a color I wanted to do, since I was a kid when I first saw it. I got the inspiration from, we had an old fella neighbor across the road who used to back this old car out of his driveway every Sunday. And I always knew it was coming because the house would smell like petrol and gasoline. And I came to learn that it was a Triumph TR6 in this color, russet brown, which I think just is the embodiment of 70s retro cool. So yeah, this is the new Modern Antique signature in its final form. Lightweight alder body, really thin nitrocellulose finish, bent saddles, signature electronics, roasted maple neck. Just a wonderful, wonderful guitar. All right, so this is my relatively new Antique Classic S. It's in the HSS config, finished in like an aged Olympic white. And this guitar is kind of the replacement to my trusty other Antique Classic S, which I've had for about 15 years and am starting to now retire just to the studio. So the guys at Serb were kind enough to rig me up with this one so I could retire the other one. And it's great. It differs a little bit from my other one that it has, pretty sure, an SSV in the bridge, different single coils. But all up, it's just a gorgeous guitar. It feels a lot more vintage, funnily enough, than my other one. It has a really nice kind of C-shaped 60s feeling neck. And yeah, this one got quite a bit of airtime. Great guitar. Well, what can I say about this? This is my black signature modern, I would say this is the guitar, arguably, that people most know me for. And this is the one that I personally have used for the last 5 or 6 years. It's come all over the world with me. It's fallen over in rehearsal rooms, here in the studio, being trashed by baggage handlers, and it still looks brand new, which is testament to how strong and good it is. Yeah, this is just such a wonderful, do-it-all, contemporary, modern, high-performance machine. And yeah, it was used quite a lot on the new record. It really is such a beautiful instrument. This one is pretty much exactly as the production models are. All right, so this is the new signature modern antique, finished in antique yellow, which is the other color that it is also available in. This one looks absolutely awesome. I really love it with the black hardware, the ebony fingerboard. Really sets it off. This one was based off a modern antique that I had built for myself many years ago now, and a lot of people have asked about that guitar, and so we thought it'd be the perfect chance to offer it in antique yellow as well. Love this thing. All right, and here is the original antique modern that I had spec'd for myself 5-7 years ago. I can't really remember. I've used it on a lot of records, taken it out on the road quite a bit. I mean, you might not be able to see from back there, but it has aged up wonderfully. This one has chrome hardware and bent saddles, which is where I first got the idea for bent saddles on a modern. Has a very distinct sound. Funny story with this guitar is that after, it being in the works for a very long time, when I finally got it, Customs held onto it for some kind of paperwork discrepancy during the CITES period. And they basically said that I wasn't allowed to have it and that they were going to incinerate it, and that I was welcome to come and watch it get set on fire. Thankfully, I put up a very large fight for about, I can't remember, 6 or 8 months, and they eventually gave it to me. So, a lucky guitar, this one. All right, so this is one of my first ever Sirs. This is my antique custom classic S. Super old. I've used this on kind of every record and every project for maybe 15 years, and I would say that it's probably one of my number one guitars. Certainly one of the ones I would grab if the apartment went up in flames. I've just grown with it. It kind of started my solo career as well. It opened my mind to more vintage voiced and feeling guitars. And it really is just a beautiful, beautiful instrument with a lot of magic in it. A lot of well-known players have played it and agree that there's just something really special about this particular one. So I took it back to the factory late last year for one last look over and for some more information about it. And John got to hang out with it and tell me some stuff about it. And because it's so special to me, it is now retired pretty much to just studio life. All right, so here's another cool guitar. This is my maybe 2014 Antique T. And I use this here and there on my records. In fact, the title track from Omen Faustum, the song Omen Faustum, was recorded with this guitar. It has, a classic brass saddle, bitey, cut your eyeballs off kind of telly tone. Huge fat neck, just an unforgiving rectangle. It's really an adult's guitar in every respect, and I respect it and love it for that. Technically, it's kind of a prototype, Frankenstein guitar. Because I remember when I got it, I asked the guys if they specifically had one of these 50 spec Ts in the white with the ash finish, and they didn't, but they had pieces around the factory, and because my flight was the following day, they kindly cobbled one together for me out of some bits that were lying around the factory. So pretty much, your standard antique T, but, a little bit Frankenstein. Well, what can I say about this one? This is the original custom black modern that I had spec'd for myself a long, long time ago when I was working in a music store out of high school. And man, I saved up for a long time for this thing. But it was worth it because it kind of changed my life. I got it shortly before I decided to do solo instrumental music. So it's grown with me over the decade, and it's been on every record. It's played almost every live show. I've taken it all over the world. It's got the battle scars to show it now. And it is just really a wonderful instrument. It has a mahogany neck, which I remember. Great sound, but not very reliable when on the road, so I eventually changed over to roast maple, which is far superior from a stability point of view. It also has the D tuner in the back, because I used to use this one to play Malevolent, a track from the Matter Circumvention, live a lot, and it just meant that I could bang it in drop D nice and quickly without mucking up any of the tuning. It's a wonderful instrument. I don't use it anymore. It's actually on display in the lounge room, but it certainly brings back a lot of cool memories having it in my hands now. All right, so this is a great instrument. This is actually the prototype to what became my black signature modern. It's mostly the same, except that this one has a really, really fancy like flamed roasted maple top on it, because I thought it made the binding look nice and expensive, but that was kind of the problem. It made the guitar too expensive, but it looks great on this one. Controversially on this one, it also has a tone knob on it, which I of course did away with on the production models. Like any handmade guitar, it feels really different to my other ones, and I find it is great for drop tuning. It's a super heavy guitar. It does like metal stuff really great. Yeah, it's a beast of a guitar, this one. Super cool. All right, so this is my Martin OM21, which is kind of my favorite Martin that they ever made. It's, you know, pretty much the same as the top spec 28 models, but without all the fancy, like abalone and, you know, frills and stuff like that. Can't remember how old this one is now. It's probably 20 years old. I've had it for a long time, and it just has that really earnest, no frills kind of acoustic guitar sound that I like, kind of porchy tone, if you will. And as I predominantly play fingerstyle, it excels at that, I think. You can hear this guitar on all of the Sigil record, which I used for the whole album. All right, and this is the big antique classic J by Sir, which I started using first on Psychophrenic Inquisition, and I've used it ever since. This is a amazing bass guitar. I love, you know, vintage bass kind of flavors, so it has that big, silky, deep, not a lot of top end kind of sound, really punchy and smooth. I find the nitro finish just gives it like extra bloom and extra character. So again, like all Sir instruments, it's so great to have that, you know, vintage sound so authentically coming through, but with that modern buttery playability that you would expect from a Sir instrument. I love this thing. It also has a roasted maple neck, which has just made it rock solid. Never adjusted the neck since I got it, and yeah, this thing is badass. All right, so moving along to this side of the room, here we have my Fender Rhodes 73 from 1971. This is really one of my prized possessions and a very large part of my music. I've used it on all my records, and it's really quite an incredible piece. It's very rare to see one from the kind of first period of the Rhodes, from 65 to 73 kind of period, in such great condition. So my one happens to be in near showroom condition. Being such an early example, it has, you know, the wooden keys and hammers and Torrington tines. So it has that really well-known and renowned and heavily sought after now kind of crystally bell-like sound. It's in all original condition. It has the original pickups, and it is one of the most beautiful instruments that I own. All right, so sitting on top here, we have the Moog Mini Moog, or the Model D as some know it by. This is another one of my kind of prized instruments and features on all of my records as well. It really is just such a perfectly laid out and expressive synthesizer. All the sounds that you make with it are musical and beautiful and fit perfectly in with rock music, in my opinion. I was considering getting a very early model vintage, but in the end I opted to get a newer one because some of the things that they implemented with it, like MIDI expansion, aftertouch, and a pitch wheel that returns back to center, I just found too good to pass up. So yeah, the Mini Moog, very important part of my sound, and I would say the best synth of all time, certainly my personal favorite. All right, so moving along into the corner over there, we have my compact rack, which is really just housing a headphone amplifier distribution unit, Furman power for the entire studio, so everything in here, all the lights, all the gear on both sides of the room, and obviously my computer and everything on the desk is powered by the Furman, which gives everything nice, clean and stable power. On top there we have the Mystery Magician's tube preamp, which is a relatively new thing in the studio, but it's honestly one of my favorite preamps that I've ever tried. The guys are just making the highest end componentry, and everything is inspired by, you know, the golden age of tube preamplifiers in studios. But I think they have something kind of unique going on. There's certainly a bunch of really cool and interesting controls for manipulation, and it's just kind of been a mainstay ever since I got it. I usually am recording acoustic guitar straight through it, and all of the analog keys in here on both sides of the room also hit the Mystery Magicians before they come into the DAW. All right, so moving over to the desk, starting with the monitors, I'm monitoring with Genelec 8331As. They are an incredible monitor, definitely the best I've ever heard. They're also the perfect size for this room, and the technology allows them to be tuned with an external microphone to everything in this room in its current configuration. So the Genelecs are currently matched to fit the acoustics in this room, which gives me a much more reliable and trustworthy listening source. So on the desk, I have an Arturia Keylab 88, which is an 88 key MIDI controller, which I use for, pretty much all-purpose MIDI if I'm doing any kind of virtual instruments. Also hand programming drums on the various pads. It's a great keyboard and is quite lightweight for its size. All right, so tucked in at the back of the desk there is the Franklin SS6, which everything in the studio routes to before it's either, distributed to the DAW or goes to the rack before hitting the DAW. But it allows me to just kind of switch through 6 individual things. So in my case, it's anything coming from the FM9, which is all the guitars, but also the individual keys. So I can select, the Wurlitzer or the Korg 700, the Rhodes or the Mini Moog. I can kind of fire through them one at a time to separate their signal sources. It's a very handy piece of kit. For interface, I'm using an Apollo Twin, which I've used for maybe 3 or 4 years. It's just a great interface. I love the console technology that rolls with it to never let me down. It's also tiny, great piece of kit. So my computer itself is an iMac. I think it's a early 2020. It's a top spec, so it's totally decked out with the maximum RAM. I'm still using the original operating system on it, which I do with all of my studio computers. And I can run, 100 track sessions loaded with plugins. Nice and smooth. Works great for video and photography editing as well. It's a great machine. It's probably got another 5 years left, I would say. On the little stand are my headphones that I use for mixing sometimes. Most of the time, just kind of late at night, quiet referencing. Those are the DT770s. They're a headphone that I've used for many, many years and I'm just really familiar with, and I like them. And so for microphone recording for acoustic guitar, tucked away in the corner over here, I'm using an AEA N13 ribbon microphone, and it is just beautiful. It excels at close range, far away. I feel like it really captures all of the nuance and details of the way I play acoustic guitar, which is more fingerstyle. And I've always just loved ribbon mics. I love that smoother top end, that more kind of retro kind of sound. So that is a great microphone, and I'll be using that for a long time, I'm sure. All right, so coming over to this side of the room, we'll kind of start from the bottom. Down here we have the Fractal FM9 Mark II Turbo, which is kind of the central modeling and effect system for the entire studio. So all the keyboards on this side of the room and here, and all my guitars and bass, all are distributed to the FM9 before they then are routed out to either hit the preamp or just come straight through to the DAW. So I get all of my guitar modeling and effects, as well as effects and some compression and things on the way in for all of the analog keyboards before they hit the DAW. I've been a Fractal user for over a decade. This unit is absolutely fantastic. It's very handy as well being down here, because often when I'm, playing or writing synth or keyboard parts in real time, I have some patches that, change the layout to be more reflective of individual stomp boxes, so I can kick in reverbs and delays, phasers, compressors, all kinds of things, just like I have a little pedal board down there specifically for the keys. So yeah, amazing piece of kit. All right, and moving on up, we have my Wurlitzer 200A electric piano, another one of my favorite instruments that I own. This one is from 1979, and it is just a wonderful example. It's all original. I had it serviced when I got it. It just has that beautiful, barky, punchy tone that works really great with guitars and for more contemporary rock kind of stuff, where I would say the Rhodes is nicer for like cleans and textures and ambience, more kind of dreamy, watery sounds. This is great for very direct, dry, punchy kind of keyboard parts. It has that famous built-in vibrato that just sounds great. You can't do anything wrong with it. It's got a super heavy action, almost drawing you in to play it nice and heavy on the hands, and it really responds to heavy hands. It'll start to almost break up a little bit. So yeah, that's a very important instrument to me, and you hear it on my records, especially on the new record. A side note, I should say that I don't really ever use them together, so when you do hear the new record, about half of it is with the Fender Rhodes, and the other half of the songs I'm using just Wurlitzer. So you should be able to hear quite a clear distinction between the two. All right, so sitting atop the Wurlitzer, we have the Mini Korg 700. My one is a very early example from 1974, and it is just one of the coolest synths ever made. And it's in fact Korg's first ever synth that they released to the commercial market, and in a way it was kind of a response to the Mini Moog, hence why it's called the Mini Korg. And it is just a simple, by today's standards, single oscillator, really fun synth. I find its limitations actually great, because I don't find that I'm spending a lot of time trying to make sounds. A few tweaks and I've landed on something kind of new and cool. And another great feature I like about it was that it was originally designed to sit atop an organ. So the controls are at the front facing you, which is very handy for people like me who have it stacked upon another keyboard. So it just means that as I'm playing, all of the controls are right there. I don't have to reach up on top or stand up. It's all just kind of laid out perfectly. So this is a beautiful synthesizer, and I was using this quite a lot on the new record. Over here in this corner, nothing too exciting, just a bunch of Pelican cases that I use for tour and to store gear with. So, my pedal board cases, my in-ear monitoring systems, they're all in kind of formed cases in a big pile over here. Like I said, not that exciting. All right, well, I think that pretty much does it. There's obviously lots of other kind of random tidbits around, but I don't think they're that interesting to talk about. Thanks so much for watching. If you think there's, anything, like I said, that you would like me to elaborate on in a specific video, just drop me a comment. I'll certainly consider doing it. I hope you enjoyed this, and yeah, thanks so much.